This is Chicago. Doors open on the left at Chicago.
Welcome to Chicago. Welcome to Chicago. Welcome to Chicago.
This is Chicago. Doors open on the left at Chicago.
Welcome to Chicago.
Welcome to Chicago. You tuned into the TCSF podcast with Big Z and JC, Dynasty Fantasy Football. And we're coming to you straight from the 606 Media Studios, powered by True Chicago Sports Fans. This is episode 283. Well, what are we calling this episode? I already forgot. What are we calling this bad boy? Heartbreak in Chicago. Yeah, that's what we're calling it.
Tears.
Yeah, tears going down my face. Yeah, man, we're fired up to talk about everything that happens in Chicago sports and what makes Chicago great. So remember to swing by 606 Media, your ultimate source for all things Chicago. Go to 606media.com and snag your official TCSF podcast t-shirt, or check out our exclusive For the Love of Sports merchandise line. Show off your Chicago pride. If you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, go ahead and subscribe and leave us kind reviews. Throw some kind thoughts on the comments. Shoot us up, share it, do all that kind of stuff. Doesn't cost you anything, and it helps us out. But if you do want to get involved, I'm going to put the link for you to, have a monthly subscription at anchor.fm/True Chicago Sports Fans, and as little as 99 cents a month, you can help us out to keep the conversation going. And again, we have multiple podcasts on 606 Media. You got No One on the Weekend, we got Imposicated, and we got True Chicago. So tons of content for you on a weekly basis. Go ahead and check out all of those shows, subscribe, and let us know what you think. So this week, we're going to talk about the Chicago Bears coming up short at the Soldier Field on the lakefront on a cold one. We'll talk about that, break all those things down, those nuances, everything we saw, everything we felt, and everything that Chicago is feeling at the moment. And then we'll talk about the Madhouse on Mattis report. We'll talk about the latest on Chicago and Blackhawks, Chicago Bulls and Blackhawks. And then we'll talk a little baseball at the end to finish out the show. There's been some some signings by some of the teams, and we just want to talk about those really quick. But it is Bears season, and even though the Bears are done, it was a great season. The NFC divisional round at Soldier Field rallying to force overtime. The Rams narrowly defeated the Bears 20-17 on a 42-yard field goal by Harrison Mevis. And Los Angeles is going to play Seattle in the championship game for the NFC. Dude, it was a crazy comeback on a miraculous late touchdown for Caleb to Komet, tying the game with under 20 seconds left in regulation. Looking at the numbers, Caleb was 23 for 42 for 257 yards, 2 touchdowns. One of the most notable crazy plays in the last 10 years that I can remember. But you're also looking at the amount of interceptions that he had, right? DJ Moore did end up with 5 receptions, 52 yards, and a touchdown. The defense recorded 4 sacks. Loveland, he had 193 yards in 2 playoff games. That's the most by a NFL tight end, rookie tight end since the 1960. And he had to exit with a concussion. That's probably why Cole Kmet caught the pass in the end zone. But it was cold, man. It was cold, and Chicago finishes off with an 11-6 record, a big improvement from last year, under a lot of rookies on the field, and rookie first-year coach Ben Johnson changing the culture. While it's a heartbreaking finish, we're going to highlight some good stuff. But JC, let's break down this last game against the Rams, and what did you see?
A lot of positives, right? So, I mean, you sit there and you look at Caleb's progression throughout the year was absolutely fantastic. I really feel like he grew this year into a stud. Again, little things, he's obviously, we know he's going to need footwork, mechanical issues corrected in the off season. The escaping out of the pocket, even on the last play, the Hail Mary to Cole Kmet, dude, you don't want a guy rushing 20 yards back and throwing up a Hail Mary. I mean, we got to get better. We're going to have multiple coaches training him to move up in the pocket rather than rolling out constantly, because as you build tendencies in the NFL, listen, they're going to adjust, and they're going to make sure that, they keep him contained within the pocket, and he is going to have to learn to move up in the pocket, something that he does not like to do. So, like I said, little things, but overall, and Ben Johnson alluded to it today in his press conference, is that from preseason to last game, the amount of growth that he has seen in Caleb Williams is absolutely fantastic. That is something that, we are as fans hoping for, looking for, the understanding of the playbook, the understanding of when I give you something, you're able to execute. Another thing I love, and we've seen with quarterbacks of the past with Mitch and with Justin, Caleb this year absolutely reduced the amount of sacks that he took. And I understand people bash him for his completion percentage, but even like last night when you watch the game, sorry, I'm blanking on his Rome. There we go. Yeah. Rome had 3 drops, and they were big drops. One was for a touchdown, right?
Yeah, that huge drop.
Loveland had 3 or 4 drops. Granted, the ball was slightly behind Loveland on some of his passes. If you go back and watch the game, Loveland was reaching behind him to catch these balls, but they still hit him in the hands. They're still drops. During the season, Zacchaeus, can't even tell you how many drops that guy had. You know what? And I'd have to look up, what his cap salary, whatever. But I don't know if Zacchaeus was on a 1-year deal. If he is, I don't see us bringing him back, because there are so many other slot receivers, wide receiver 3s, wide receiver 4 players that we can bring in that can catch a freaking ball. I was high on Zacchaeus in the offseason when I was watching him in camp, because I was able to attend camp twice. I loved what I saw from Zacchaeus in camp. Okay. I don't know what happened once the game lights came on, whatever. The dude could not catch. I can't explain it. So, like I said, a lot of great things to be happy with the Bears.
Yeah, there is lots of Sharon chiming in. Go Indiana 9-0. I just turned around right now. I don't know what. Yep, it is 9-0. Well, so yeah, go Indiana. Hey, Ivan from the Tape Never Lies is joining us. And 1 second. Yeah, I got you. Let him get settled. But I did want to bring up something. So let me get the media thing up here, and I want to bring up. Is this overlay? No. I'm trying. Where do I put this? I guess it is an overlay. Because you asked about the free agents and Zacchaeus and so forth.
Yeah. So I could go over some of the free agents if you like.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah.
CJ Gardner-Johnson is going to be one of them.
It's on the screen for you. There you go. Yeah, it's on the screen for you. Let's see.
Yeah. So our biggest ones are going to be Brisker and Byard, on the defensive side. Andrew Billings, he's gone. He has been getting absolutely trounced. He has been horrible on defense. He's up there in age. Granted, he's on a low salary. We're only paying him like $3 million a year. So it's one of those, like, do you bring him back on a low salary? Maybe. I personally wouldn't. Case Keenum, I think, was brought in to help
Caleb,
get better, and from even like a film standpoint or whatever. I don't see us spending money on Keenum again. I could see us going with a younger, say 7th, 8th, 6th round quarterback, like a project quarterback. Again, Zacchaeus gone in my opinion. Chris Williams, I could live without him. Jonathan Owens, I don't know. I'd have to look and see what we were paying Owens. Looks like Zacchaeus, we were only paying $1.5 million. So, I mean, I guess for as many drops as he had, $1.5 million is not a terrible cap number. Let's see. Jonathan Owens, what were we paying you?
I mean, for me, there's a couple names on there. What's going to happen with Braxton Jones? What did he do enough to stay on the roster this year? Nua Soul, did he do enough? Dominic Robinson, how many reps did he get for him to be able to stick around? Nashawn Wright had a decent season. And like you said, Jonathan Owens was there really just filling in. He was a rotation guy. I don't think that's something that you're going to pay a lot for. I think he's like 33, 34.
No. Yeah, Jonathan Owens, we were paying 1.925 million. So, I mean, he's a decent backup and he's a great guy to have, especially special teams, everything like that. So, I mean, if you wanted to bring him back, fine. I'm okay with bringing back Owens at a decent price. I would probably bring back, do I bring back CJ Gardner Owens? That's kind of a toss up. I know CJ Gardner Johnson got more of the playing time, but I do like Owens. He filled in not this year, but last year pretty well. Ivan, what are your thoughts?
I like keeping. Well, first of all, there needs to be a point and a focus on who stood up and who made plays for you consistently in big spots and who didn't. And quite honestly, there were maybe 3 names I'm going to keep on that list, maybe.
Okay.
And then everybody else can go ahead and find, whatever it is they need to do with the rest of their career and their lives. Like, because I don't need, I probably, like I said, it might be two names I might keep on there. Kevin Byard's definitely one.
Agreed.
And then I'm going to go ahead and say Nashawn Wright has earned a spot, but it would still be it would be a 1 to 2 year deal because you still got to prove, and we need depth at corner. And Jaquan Brisker, who had the game of his fucking life, I feel like his best game by far since he was a rookie, since we've seen Jaquan Brisker as a younger player, I feel like. But even with that, I still have questions on what you're going to give him for a contract, because one game doesn't, go ahead and take away a lot of games where you had poor performances in. But again, it's as simple as that. It's who was consistently making plays for you, game in, game out, in big spots. Those are the guys that stick on the team. Don't want to fucking see a Travis Homer ever again. Don't want to fucking see a guy like Chris Williams. Don't want to see these guys. Noah Sewell, don't want to see him either. These guys haven't done it. They've been allowed. I mean, they've had these streaks, maybe just a quick flash, and then they're gone. Dominic Robinson, sorry, you got to go. Like, there's not enough on their tape that makes me say, all right, we got to keep those guys. Like, it's just not. Zacchaeus, sorry. Like, I mean, we're younger at that position. I think you could go ahead and find some more skilled players to fill in as those third and fourth wide receivers.
Jade Walker would be perfect replacement for Zacchaeus.
Exactly. You have a guy like Jade Walker who's shown that he can show up in big spots, right? So, like, you have options as far as that, the skill position that wide receiver is concerned. Loveland stepping up, Komet, to be honest with you, stepping up big time. There's still, he is what he is, but I'll say this is his best year as a Bear. Cole Komet, I feel like, I think this is.
The problem I have with Komet is that we can cut him and his salary this year, right, save $5 million, because right now we are in not a very good cap space due to Brian Poles signing guys that didn't deserve it to contracts they don't deserve.
And that's fine if he's going to get cut. I don't mind him getting cut. I'm just saying, like, you have options to where you don't have to hold on to a guy like a Zacchaeus, because, like you said, there's poor decision making as far as personnel is concerned. Signing guys like Odangbo, who hasn't done a fucking dang thing. You know what I'm saying? Signing, just giving guys contracts. A guy like fucking Dexter, who selfish fuck gets a 15-yard penalty. I don't care what you think it was. It's still fucking a blindside block when the play was over because there was no turnover. There was nothing. It's a blindside fucking hit. And that's what happened. But guys like that get contracts and don't fucking perform. Those are huge fucking mistakes. And like JC said, it's going to be hard to navigate this. I just feel like you don't have to hold on to guys like a Zacchaeus or like a Owens or a fucking Homer anymore. It's time to step up the personnel.
Well, the nice thing is Dexter is still under contract for next year, I believe. So we have him for one more year, so we don't have to worry about that. He becomes a UFA in 2027. So Dexter is only making like 2.1 million. So the production we're getting out of Dexter, I'm not mad at it. The Noah Sewell, no, I'm not keeping him. I know he filled in. I know he was our third linebacker this year. I know he played well enough, I guess, to be the starter or your third starter. But to me, who was the guy that we had? Jackson, was it?
Yes.
I'll
pull it up for you.
Yeah, I'm in our cap space and I'm trying to look it up. But I mean, I would keep Jackson over Sewell. We have Ruben Hippolyte, who granted was a rookie this year. So he probably needed a little bit of education in the NFL versus, college football. So I'm hoping Hippolyte next year can take a huge step forward, although Sewell is actually younger than Hippolyte. Noah Sewell is 24. Hippolyte's 25. However, Hippolyte, I mean, he was like a combine workout freak. He was extremely fast. He can play sideline to sideline. Something Noah Sewell could not do. So again, I'm hoping next year Hippolyte can take a huge step forward. Right? We were talking last night on the post-game show, Austin Booker. I'm ecstatic about his improvement this year.
He's definitely stepped it up. Yeah, definitely.
Correct.
One of those guys that
to me, like, we're paying Deo, and for what? Unfortunately, there's not much we can do. I'm sitting here looking up his contract. A potential out in 2027. But he's going to be with us next year for a cap hit of 20.5 million. And nothing we can do about it.
Well, Dennis had his guys' work cut out for him. If you're going to be working with guys that are getting paid big bucks, they've got to be able to produce.
This draft is going to be littered with fucking. It's going to be defensive fucking sit, in my opinion. Maybe you sprinkle in a offensive lineman in there, but it's got to be heavy defensive focus, in particular at the line of scrimmage.
Pass rush.
It should be your first 3 draft picks. If you could accumulate in, let's say, a trade or something like that, let's say they, God willing, could find something for Max Crosby where it doesn't hurt you. Awesome, you added a pass rusher, but even that, whatever pass picks you have when it comes to draft time, you have to have at least 3 of those first picks be defensive players. You know what I'm saying? Like it needs to be the focus of the offseason, because I believe in the offense. I believe it could grow, and I believe that free agents will look to want to be added here. Come free agency, but you want to put this in motion. You want to get this machine going where you got youth coming up. Maybe you add some veteran talent through free agency, and you get this thing really cooking, because I feel like just the constant misses on defense throughout the years, and injury has been a part of it. It's fucked us. Like, let's be real. It's fucked us. I mean, one stop, we could call it a bad play by Dennis Allen, going ahead and going on an all-out blitz with a veteran quarterback like Stafford. And then, of course, Puka Nacua is the guy, right over Gordon, who just turns around and picks up the first down to pretty much seal it for the Rams. there needs to be better talent on the defensive end. I believe in the offense, but the defense needs to be the focus. Get nasty with these guys. Find some dogs.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. We also had, Kyler Gordon coming back from injury. Jalen Johnson has basically said, like, I'm still not 100%, but I'm out here for my guys. I assume Kyler Gordon, same thing. We watched him last week against the Green Bay Packers. Kyler Gordon was clearly against the Green Bay Packers a liability, but this week much improved. Played much better for us. So secondary wise, yes. Do I think we could use a second corner, whether that's Nashawn Wright, whether that's Stevenson, whether that's a guy that we draft next year? Yes, I think we could use an improvement at cornerback 1, and Jalen, as he's aging, Jalen is 27, and on a big contract. Can we get younger at the position? Can the coverage get better? I do think so. But my overall in our draft, it has to be the trenches. It has to be the defensive tackles. Too much where we were getting pushed off the line, pushed off of our position. The gaps were too big in the run game. We need to get stout on that defensive tackle and defensive line, in my opinion, and that will help your secondary improve as well.
Yep. Oh, we got a comment here. We need to get younger, faster, create some cap space by moving. Was it Truman? Trade more.
Tremaine.
Oh, Tremaine. Move on to restructure Sweat, and we need angry players. A great take. Great take.
Sweat at 30 has not looked the same. Tremaine Edmonds, we are. Look, let's see, 2026. Let me look up the dead cap space because I just want to be clear on this. We can cut Tremaine, right? We owe him 17.437, so call it 17.5 million. We can cut him and save 15 million. We're going to do that. Either that, or we are going to extend him and we're going to push the money further out and get cap space from him by reworking his contract. But in last night's game, I'll be honest with you. I mean, I know Tremaine has had a great season, especially in the first half of the season prior to getting injured. However, when I was watching the game last night, there were times where it's like he hesitates to attack like an offensive player. Like they're close to the sideline, they're whatever, and rather than tackling them and whatever, he like stands there and hesitates and breaks down and waits for the guy to come to him, giving them an extra 2 to 3 yards. Like, I need a guy who's going to take that guy out 3 yards back. Every yard matters in the NFL. So if you're not going to blow up a guy, you're not going to tackle a guy, you're going to wait for them to basically try and bulldoze you. That's not going to work for me, especially not at 17.5 million.
Yep. And you're right. Like if there needs to be improvement, if there can be, I think TJ Edwards, hopefully whenever he comes back, he's healthy enough and he could be a help.
Yeah.
But I do like TJ Edwards.
Broken
but
fibula,
everybody else,
broken fibula is not going to take long. He'll be back for training camp. They'll reconstruct it.
But getting back into it though, you're getting back to football speed. It's probably going to take him a bit. You know what I mean? Like it's still you broke the shit out of your foot. I would just
but it's not going to be like Trapillo where you're maybe not back till December. You know what I mean? Like he'll be back for regular season. It's going to take him a while.
This isn't even my point. My point is any other linebacker besides TJ Edwards can be fucking off this team. All right, like there's no need to hold on to guys like a Tremaine Edmonds, Noah Sewell. I know Hippolyte's on there. We'll see what the fuck he does. Hopefully he takes a jump, but I'm not really enthused because he has the same pass coverage issues as Noah Sewell. So again, he could run faster than him, but can he cover in coverage. That's a question still. But regardless of that, the
Look,
linebacker
I
position
think with
can't be.
Hippolyte, he was a late round draft pick, and
He was a
he
fourth
had a
round
learning
draft
curve.
pick.
So,
That's not that late.
It's in the middle of the pack. Middle of the
yeah,
pack.
but there were scouts that had him listed as a 5th, 6th round. So just
Those
because the
scouts that
Bears
had
took
him
him,
underdrafted too.
correct. So just because the Bears took him in the 3rd, doesn't mean that he didn't have a big learning curve to come in and figure things out. That said, I mean, look, I think Hippolyte can definitely fill in for Sewell for sure. Is he going to be as good as Edmonds or Edwards? No. But can he play Sewell's position? I hope so. That said, there are going to be, there's going to be plenty of linebackers out there. Quay Walker from the Green Bay Packers is going to be available. I mean, that guy just in the game against the Bears, he had like 9 or 10 tackles. I mean, he's just everywhere, making tackles in the backfield. I think he might have had a sack against us in the last game. So there's plenty of people out there. It's just a matter of if we have the cap space. And right now, there's going to be a lot of tough decisions. We'll see if the cap gets extended again, like it has the past however many years. Maybe giving us a little more wiggle room. But as of right now, I'm trying to find it. We have $3.6 million in cap space for next year.
That'll get you a hot dog and 2 Cokes. That's
that won't resign Brisker. That will not resign Byard. That won't resign anybody. So like I said, we're gonna have a lot of work to do. But looking at some of this, like Zach Pickens, a defensive tackle we took, I don't know how many years ago, gone in my opinion. Amagaje, the tackle that we took a couple years ago, gone. Like, we have Theo Benedict, we have some of these guys. Why are we keeping Amagaje? Dude, like, polls admit that you missed on that guy and let's move on. Yeah, just again going over, Cairo Santos. Do we need a kicker for $3.7 million? I would bring in some competition and see what we get. I've been saying that for years that, bring in some competition for that guy. But you're going to have to go to the well. DJ Moore, some of these guys, Jalen Johnson, Thuney, we're going to have to restructure, redo some of these contracts, see if we can spread the money out, offer maybe a year or 2 extension to the deal and spread some money out. Reward some of the guys that have played well for you and try and spread that money out and get yourself some cap space. As Ivan said, I think there's going to be a lot of free agents that are going to look at the Bears as a very attractive place to play now.
And maybe they take a pay cut, just a little bit, just to play with this amazing team that is on the up and up. JC, we're 21st in cap in the NFL with 3.692. You're right. Yeah, that's not enough. So a lot of these stuff that is going to have to get restructured. There's going to be a lot of players, a lot of veterans are going to be available, but those price tags are huge. I was looking at the edge rushers that will be available. That is way too high, asking for 18, 19, 20, 25, 30 million, like Trey Henderson. He's 29 million. We can't afford that. Khalil Mack, he's 35. I don't think we want somebody that's at the end of their career like that. Joey Bosa, another big name, another 12 million, 30 years old. You're looking at, who's the other name I had up here? I mean, there's a bunch of names up here for that. And then also I was looking at linebackers, as you guys were talking about linebackers. They're kind of old. Demarius Davis, Levante David, Bobby Wagner, all mid-30s. Kenneth Murray from Dallas is 27. 7.7 price tag. Another young linebacker I was looking at, a Cole Holcomb from Pittsburgh. Another one would be Quay Walker from Green Bay that you talked about. He's 25 and only making 3.4. So you can spend some money once you restructure these contracts. When can you do that, JC? When does that first happen?
Restructuring, it's going to happen like March. I mean, you could definitely approach guys now and, you know, start talking about it. But really that will not get going until like March, April, in the way of, you know, cap stuff, because they're going to want that all done prior to free agency so that they know what they're going to have available and
Right, to the
what they can
draft.
spend. Yeah.
Yeah.
But, you know, like I said, there's a few guys off the Packers team that I would love to have. Quay Walker being one of them, and a wide receiver that I know the Packers are down on. But Romeo Doubs, I mean, he played really well against us in the playoff game, and I don't feel like he really gets the credit he deserves. And I know he's had some attitude issues, but you know, if there's an instance where, and I don't want to say this out loud, but if there's an instance where we move on from, you know, DJ Moore and say maybe we trade him in a package for, you know, a Max Crosby or something to that effect. I mean, there are wide receivers out there like Romeo Doubs that, you know, could come in and potentially, you know, either Luther Burden be your wide receiver 1 and, you know, Romeo Doubs be your wide receiver 2 with, you know, but there's plenty of things to do out there. It's just a matter of, hey, are we going to trade guys? Are we going to extend them? You know, are we going to restructure their money into signing bonus and then things of that nature? There's so many ways to manipulate the cap, but there's going to be work in the front office to get things done.
All right, before we finish up with the Bears for today, I wanted to, you know, focus on something positive, and I wanted to talk about all the rookies that were drafted and were able to contribute this year. You're looking at, you know, like you said, your wide receiver rookie room, right? You had, I'm trying to pull that up for you real quick. You know, I mean, obviously we had Colston Loveland showing out and coming out. We got Roma Dunze. You had Manungai. You had, you know, 3 guys right there that made a huge impact so quickly, being rookies and not being scared to rise above. I'm sorry?
Rome's in the second year.
Yeah. So, yeah. Well,
You mean Luther Burden is what you're talking about?
Yes, Luther Burden. Yes. Yeah, Luther Burden is the one I was trying to reference. Yes, thank you. Yeah, I mean, but again, there's a lot of rookies on this team that, you know, are coming up with Ben Johnson through that system and have not shied away from, you know, putting some weight on their back and carrying that team. And Loveland being the face of the rookies, it's going to be a great sophomore season for these guys if they continue to grow. Thoughts on that, boys?
No, I mean, look, I don't know if it was Ben Johnson working with Poles, if it was, you know, the scouting, but we had a fantastic, absolutely fantastic draft last year. You know, I was personally, I was down on Loveland, just because I really thought edge was an issue, and there were a lot of edges available in last year's draft. I really thought that was the route that we needed to go, but they made the right decision. Loveland is an absolute game changer, will be an absolute game changer for years to come. That said, does our defense absolutely need an overhaul? Yes. You know, I don't know if you guys remember during the draft, I was sitting there screaming about Jahad Campbell, who had fallen to the Eagles at like 28 to 30. And I kept screaming, like, where is Poles? Why is he not trading up? Like, go get this guy, like, to be a linebacker. Because here we are now. Like, if we had drafted Jahad Campbell, we would be able to move on from Tremaine Edmonds, no problem. However, that said, you know, at the same time, Luther Burden is a guy, so I'm not mad at Luther Burden being the draft pick either. You know, I think it's a matter of Poles knows what he wants in his offense by, or Ben, Johnson knows what he wants in his offense. And he told Poles, these are the guys I want. They are game changers. And to me, like I know Luther had a fantastic season for a rookie. I can't wait to see what he does next year. I think all arrows point upwards. I kept saying all season long, the talent we have on offense, something's just we're not clicking 100%. And if we can ever get there to 100% and put 30 points on the board every single week, that will be absolutely magical. And I cannot wait for it.
Ivan, final thoughts before we move on to the madhouse. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. And then you're gonna go off to your thing.
We only just fucking begun, guys. Like the season has started. Like it's on now. I feel like if there's any doubt that this Bears team can't go out there next year and have a great season, I mean, not saying it's going to be like this one, but I think it's foolish to doubt them. I think it'll be very important for Caleb Williams in particular to go out there and not necessarily get too comfortable. It needs to be immediate, and not necessarily Michael Jordan in the next day, but it needs to be an immediate return to work. If this is what drives you, and you said it's frustration, it's fire, well then the work in the off season, the little things, the mechanics, the footwork, all that shit needs to be done, and it needs to be done consistently and throughout the entire offseason. Like you have to be maniacal with your workout process, with your tape watching. You should have every fucking mistake from that game on your TV playing nonstop all offseason because you can be better. Every one of these guys on this team can and should have been better that game. But it's not one guy. It was a team fucking loss. We move on, but this team has given us a lot of hope, a lot more hope than any other team in recent memory. So I'm going to get out of here.
Yeah, I know, Ivan.
Guys.
Thanks, Ivan. Ivan from the Tape Never Lies. Let's go and do his show on the Tape Never Lies Network. We are going to take a small break, and then on the flip side, we're going to talk Bulls and Blackhawks quickly, and then we'll finish off the show with a little bit of baseball because baseball season is approaching very, very quickly. So we'll be right back after a word from our sponsors.
Hey there, Chicago enthusiasts. Are you ready to take your fandom to the next level? The True Chicago Sports Fan Podcast has got you covered with some serious cool merch that screams Chicago pride. From cozy sweaters to trendy tank tops, we got it all. Show off your love for the city with our iconic red, white, and blue logo, or stand out with our exclusive collection for the love of sports. Whether you're lounging at home, breaking a sweat at the gym, or cheering on your team at a game, our gear is a must-have for all you diehard Chicago sports fans out there. Don't hesitate. Visit bonfire.com/store/606-media-store/. Or simply just click the link in the description and snag your gear ASAP. Get ready to make some noise, show your pride, and embrace the Chicago spirit with True Chicago Sports Fan Podcast merch. Designed for you, the ultimate fan, for the love of sports.
Hey guys, it's Steven.
And this is Sean, and you are listening to True Chicago Sports Fans.
Don't forget to listen to No War on the Weekend. New episodes on Monday. You can find us anywhere you listen to podcasts.
Yeah, so we're going to go do a couple of shots. So let's kick it back over to Big Z.
Back to True Chicago Sports Fans Podcast with Big Z. We got JC Dynasty Fantasy Football. He probably went to go pee. But I am here. And
here. Just give me a second.
Yeah, but it's time for the Madhouse on Madison Report, and the Chicago Bulls split the home and home with the Brooklyn Nets. Kobe White had 24, Dosunmu had 19, Vucevic had 17, 11, and 6, and Buzelis had 17. The only thing right now that you can paint as positive news with the Bulls is Buzelis is developing. Obviously we know the dunk highlights. He can fly pretty high and dunk on people. but I need him consistently scoring 15 to 20 points. Vucevic has had a resurgence here, whether he gets traded or not, or they extend him because there's rumors of him getting extended. I'm fine with it. If he finishes his career with us, I'm okay with that. But if you run the offense through Vooch, it'll be much better. I'm so sick of this run and gun, no defense, but that's Billy Donovan. I digress. I'm not going to go into Billy Donovan rant. Ayo has also shown out, has definitely shown what he can do. A little bit more aggressive going to the basket in the last couple of games. I've been watching him. Kobe White, again, he's very much like Zach LaVine. He's hot, he's cold, he's hot, he's cold. He's coming back trying to get rhythm with these guys, especially with Giddy out. I feel he's more comfortable. When Giddy is in, he doesn't know what his role is. So right now the Bulls are a complete conundrum of what the hell are we doing? And we've been going over this over and over. They are 20-22 in the 9th seed, which I think they're going to hang around from 7 to 11 for the remainder of the season. There's no way that the team is going to be able to climb all the way to the caliber of the Celtics, Pistons, Knicks, even the 76ers, and they're not even healthy. So there's rumblings of trades. I'm not even going to get into it because it's all speculation at the moment. We got a whole month before the trade deadline, and I don't know. For me, the Bulls are just stuck in the middle. They're just stuck in reverse. I don't know what gear it might be because it's just bad.
Yeah, I mean, look, I know you just said that there's rumblings that we may extend Vooch. I mean, honestly, like if we can't trade him, then you might as well extend him and have him finish out his career. Because at this point, like it's one of those where, I mean, unless Vooch absolutely doesn't want to play for the Bulls anymore because he's tired of playing in mediocrity. I mean, the bottom line is we're not getting any better anytime soon. We don't have the draft capital to, I mean, we have draft capital, but it's not like we have multiple, picks or anything of like that nature where we can really turn this franchise around. And we don't have the talent to really entice a team to trade first round picks to us in order to, really fix our team. Kobe White, he's averaging 18 points a game. That's fantastic or whatever for the Bulls. But for a team that's going to give up a first round pick and hope that he's going to help them win a championship, I don't think that's going to happen. Buzelis and Giddy, you could probably trade Giddy and get a fortune. You could probably trade Buzelis and get a fortune. However, those, two guys, it's like those are the guys that you kind of want to build around. Ayo, in my opinion, like you said, I've kind of been iffy on Ayo just because of his injury history. And then it's, he's kind of one of those guys that disappears at times. However, he's going into a contract year and he's putting together some tape to basically say, hey, some team out there, come pay me, whether it be Bulls or another team. Ayo is trying to put some tape out there to get paid.
Yeah, he definitely is. And again, the Bulls have a lot of individual talents, but they don't have the talents that are meshing together. And again, for me, Billy Donovan is not the coach that will take us to the promised land. He is a place setter. Yeah. They did that in OKC. Once they started getting good, they're like, bye, see you later. He can't handle veterans, in my opinion, that he can't handle veteran players. You've seen what happened with DeMar, with Zach, the issues there. It's not a recipe for success. And until they clean house from top to bottom and say, hey, you know what? We're going to do a hard reset. No more of this half-ass resets. Giddy and Buzelis are going to be our future. We're going to build around that. And we need players that are going to be in the building that continue to support this. And it's going to support an offensive coach that can do that. Go hire some, like a GM from these winning organizations, like your OKC. Go hire somebody from there. Go hire a coach out of maybe Steve Kerr's tree. Someone that's been developing under him. Someone can build an offense. We don't have that. And I know the NBA's all offense, no defense until the last 2 minutes of the fourth quarter. But you know what? When we had a defensive coach, we were pretty good. We shut down teams with max effort. There is no max effort. and you can't trade your bust in Patrick Williams. No one wants him. They've been shopping around. No one wants him. That stupid a contract and his lack of a motor, a lack of rebounding,
Lack
just
of everything.
lack of everything. Yeah, and he had a couple games with a couple threes, but I'm like, yeah, whatever.
I'm sorry. He averages 18 minutes a game and 6.5 points.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
That is terrible.
Rebounds, he averages 2.9 rebounds. Assists, nothing. Steals, nothing. Blocks, nothing. Turnovers, almost one. Like you look at his stats and they're just horrible. But yet we paid him, $90 million over 5 years or whatever it was. And yeah, it's a contract we cannot move. It's a contract that nobody wants to touch.
You would have to pay for it. You would have to pay to get him away from the Chicago Bulls. You would have to pay half that, like probably 3/4 that salary to get rid of it, to maybe get a second rounder back. Essentially, you'd be buying a second rounder.
I would give up a second round to move him.
You
That's what it's kind of, you're gonna have to pay someone the salary and picks to take him.
Yep.
Because I mean, it's just again, it would be, I'd have to go look at like who's the worst team in the league with the most salary cap and be like, hey, can we work a deal? Because nobody's gonna want to do that at all.
No, especially because it has multiple years left. No one wants to pay that over and over. So Bulls are trash. It's just because the organization is trash. That's why I say that. But there's a lot of good players putting effort out there. But the big news is Derrick Rose jersey retirement this Saturday. It's going to be phenomenal. That's probably a highlight game to watch, mostly for the halftime show where they're going to honor Derrick Rose, retired number 1. And, I can't wait to see those Bulls from those years, because after the Jordan years, those Bulls were my favorite guys. You have your Kirk and Joakim and Taj. Those are my favorite guys from that era. And it'll be good. It's Ben Gordon as well, if he's there. A good mix of guys that, didn't have the best talent, but played very well together and became really good friends. So this Saturday, Derrick Rose jersey retirement, and there'll be a game too. There'll probably be a basketball game that breaks out. So that'll be something to check out. Tickets are extremely expensive, so that'll be something I'll be watching at a bar. Oh, let's flip over to the other team that plays at the UC, the Blackhawks, and I don't know. I haven't able to watch Blackhawks because it's been Bear season the entire time. But the Blackhawks continue to show that they have talent on there, even when after the captain came back, they've been doing pretty good. I'm pulling that up right now.
Yeah, I mean the biggest news right now is obviously tonight. It's Blackhawks versus the Jets, and obviously that is return of Jonathan Taze to Chicago. So I'm sure he'll get a outstanding ovation. He kind of had a unceremonious departure due to COVID illness. He's had a long, treacherous comeback. So good to him, good to Jonathan Taze to come back, and play for his hometown Winnipeg Jets. The Blackhawks have a long way to go. We have a lot of work to do still. They're a very young roster that is playing mediocre hockey. And it's one of those, we kind of talked when Bedard was out, that was our chance to lose as many games as possible to get us in a higher draft choice. And it's one of those where, now that Bedard is back, they're playing well again.
They've lost 3 straight, but I think it's more of a defensive issue because they're losing 4-1, 3-1, 5-2.
So we've talked all last year, when the Blackhawks were playing even worse than they are this year. We said, that with those scores of 4-1, 3-1, stuff like that, it's a massive defensive problem. Obviously, we have games where we beat teams 6-1. Our offense can put pucks in goals, but at the same time, these are not the Blackhawk years. where you had like Duncan Keith and Sharp and these guys on the defensive end that were stud all-star defenders. You know, the Blackhawks, you know, I've kind of said for a few years, you know, the Blackhawks, I don't know why it is, like they always seem to be the undersized team. You know, they like to go for smaller, faster, speedier players. However, like on the defensive end, like I want some bruisers. I want some guys that are going to put people in the boards, that are going to wear them out physically, and be physical. You know, the years of Bufflin, like, you know, Bufflin was one of my favorite players because, you know, he did the dirty work that needed to be done. And, you know, I feel like that's kind of missing right now on the defensive end, is just some tough bruisers that are going to do the dirty work and keep the puck out of the goal in front of, you know, we have a goalie who seems to be pretty good. I'm not going to say he's fantastic, but if you put a couple guys in front of him that can help him keep the puck out of the zone, then, you know, I think that's going to help tremendously.
Yeah, the Blackhawks have a lot of work to do. I know it's you know, still early in this game, but it's
Well, they don't have that much more time because Connor Bedard, you know, we've talked about it. He's coming up on his free agent contract, you know, so they need to put up or shut up because, you know, if they can't become a team worthy of Bedard, then Bedard can potentially move on. So it's one
yeah,
of those, like, we need to figure it out and put a better team around him. You know, I know we moved a couple players in the past couple weeks. You know, whether or not they're helping, honestly, like it's been all about the Bears. So I haven't really paid attention to the Blackhawks all that much to be like, you know, what's going on over here. Um, you know, so now that the Bears season has come to an end, that allows us to focus on some of these other teams and now put our eyes on, you know, how are the Blackhawks really doing, you know, and keep an eye out there. You know, and I can say is, you know, we're Chicago fans. As one season ends, a new season begins, and we kind of just shift our focus, you know.
yeah, we do shift our focus, and I mean, for me, it's baseball season. While I still have to put, you know, NFL, you know, on the peripherals of what's going to happen with the Bears, as far as like we talked about, like moving on for guys, extending contracts, moving contracts around, the draft, which is in April, like that's going to be huge for us. Yeah, but baseball's my first love, and right now, baseball is what is in the forefront. And I understand that it's still Blackhawk season, it's still Bull season, but let's be honest, neither of those teams are going to be making the playoffs. All right,
No,
so and they're not going to be going forward. So for me, that's the issue. Is let's move forward. You know, to baseball, in my opinion, because that's if it's baseball season, it's warm outside, and today it is not warm outside.
I didn't leave my house the entire day today.
I had to take the
I
dog
was
out.
like, I'm not doing it. I'm not wandering. Although I do have to take my trash out after this, so it's like I'm not looking forward to taking my trash out to the curb.
Yeah, it's 5 degrees. It's 5 degrees. Oh my goodness. Let's talk about some Cub notes really quickly. They had their Cubs convention this weekend. If you were able to go, great. You know, someone wanted to invite me next year, I'll go. I mean, there's nothing wrong with me going to the Cubs convention. I'm a baseball fan. But the Cubs did make some news this week with the signing of Bregman. You know, 5 years, $175 million contract, including $70 million in deferments. Look at that, JC. The Cubs actually do that. Deferments. There
Oh
you
my
go.
god! But it's not $2.11 million, or sorry, $billion. I'm sorry to everyone out there. You have to understand that I believe the Dodgers are ruining MLB.
Oh, I got that.
I believe that, you know, in my personal opinion, the MLB has now become my fourth favorite league. I believe, you know, now that I'd much rather watch football than hockey, than basketball, which everybody knows I can't stand the new NBA style of play. And frankly, now like baseball is last to me. I love baseball. I will 100% watch and go to Wrigley to watch a game. But like I have no like I'm not going to watch all these, baseball games or whatever because it's like the NBA. It doesn't even matter. You're creating super teams that teams in the MLB cannot even compete with.
You know what? As
Jose,
much as
face it.
as much
The
as my
Miami
Dodgers are,
Marlins. No, stop. The Marlins, look up what their salary was for their entire team last year.
like
Look it up.
34 million. It's like 34 million.
67 million.
Look at that. They spend a little money.
What did the Dodgers just pay Tucker? Annual salary. What did the Dodgers pay Kyle Tucker annual salary?
It's 10 years, 350. No, it's not that. No, nobody's doing it for 10 years anymore.
What's his AAV?
His AAV? I'll pull it up right now.
$60 million per year is what the Dodgers are paying Tucker. They are paying Kyle Tucker, one player. The Dodgers are paying one player the entire Miami Marlins salary cap.
If they got the money,
I don't give a shit if they have the money. The MLB will go to lockout strictly because they need to fix this issue. There needs to be a bottom salary cap number. There needs to be a top hard cap number. None of this deferred money nonsense. None of that bull ass shit. Because you know what? The bottom line is that the disparity of teams, if you go look at the MLB salary, okay, I think it's like there's 13 teams or something to that effect that are around under $120 million salary. MLB salary cap for league.
The Mets are doing the same thing. Philly's doing the same thing.
Yeah, no, look, there's a couple teams at the very high end, whether it be the Cubs, the Mets, the Yankees.
The Cubs are ninth in spending right now.
Yeah, but I mean, in the way of money coming in, they're third or something like that.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is like when you look at, I think I'm pulling it up right here, right now. Let's see. The Marlins this year, tax payroll for the Marlins this year, they're at $100 million.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So then you have the Rays, Cleveland, the White Sox, Pittsburgh, Washington. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. Call it 7 teams under 150 million, something like that. So
right.
Again, you're paying Kyle Tucker half the salary of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Call it 6 teams. One player is making half the salary of 6 teams.
Yes, the money is stupid and ridiculous. I completely agree. No one should be getting paid that much to play a kid's game. I completely agree with you. My thing is, in an open market like it is in baseball, if you are not spending, and if I go over the luxury tax and you benefit from that because it goes into the pot and gets split between the rest of the teams because you don't want to spend like Miami, Pittsburgh. We're talking about teams that do it year after year. Miami, Pittsburgh, the White Sox, year after year don't do that. Colorado's been like that. The Athletics have been like that. Kansas City, those are the teams that continuously do it over and over and over. You should be penalized, just like you are penalized for going over the threshold. And there's a luxury tax and it's tiered. How many times did you do it? You did it last year and you did it again. Okay, now it's a higher tax. Yes. There needs to be a floor on spending. Yes. The floor should be at 150. The floor should be 150. So that way you're trying to be competitive, because at 150, Milwaukee was competitive.
I see. I 100% disagree. I think the minimum should be. I think the minimum should be say 180 to 200, and
Okay,
the
you want to
cap,
go higher? I'm fine with that.
cap, the cap at the top should be 320.
Okay, 320.
No
320.
deferred money, no anything.
Okay, and then that's the biggest thing because they will close that loophole of the deferred money. That's definitely gone. But you're looking at 320. Teams that were over 320.
And don't get me wrong, like I'm saying 320 now, but we know, like, okay, the salary cap every year, like the NFL, it's got to go up, right? We know there's money in advertising, all that stuff. Let them figure that out, right? Even if the cap is 350 million, right?
Mhm.
Whatever it need be, but you need to shrink the amount of difference between the bottom team and the top teams. And why do I say that? Is because, okay, the Miami Marlins might be the worst team in baseball, and they keep getting the number one pick year after year after year after year.
You can't do it
However,
no more.
those number one picks, they'll play for the Miami Marlins for 3 years, and then guess what? The Dodgers buy them,
Or the Yankees, or
or
Boston.
the Yankees, or whoever.
Yes,
So
they become a farm system.
essentially- So essentially, not only do you have single A, double A, triple A, the Miami Marlins are just quadruple A.
Mm-hmm. And
Because
also giving you wins.
You're going to have
yes.
the shit teams at the bottom who are just looked at as like, hey, I'm going to take your best player. I'm going to take your best player because you can't pay him, you can't afford him, and they don't want to play for you because XYZ. And like, to me, that's where it's like, I understand the Kansas City Royals won not that long ago. I understand that, the Chicago White Sox, even though they have a low salary cap right now, they've won. Cleveland faced us in the World Series. So, like, I understand there are teams that right now are at the bottom of their salary cap, and maybe they're trying to clean things up. They're trying to shed the salary. However, you know what I mean? Like, how many years were the Oakland A's? Like, there's a whole movie, the Moneyball movie, is based on the A's getting absolutely like taken advantage of.
They don't
because
even have
they
a stadium.
Huh?
They don't even have a stadium.
I
They
understand.
don't have a
Look,
home.
I'm talking about the fact that they can't afford to pay their players
Yes.
like the Yankees. Like, there's a whole movie about like, Johnny Damon and all these guys and whoever who used to play for the A's, that the A's couldn't afford them, and that, they were used basically as a negotiating tactic to get their guys more money from the Yankees.
Yeah.
So again, I'm just at the point where something needs to change where it makes it more competitive. Because
completely
again,
agree with you. I
when you have one
completely agree
team, huh?
I said I completely agree with you. I'm just laughing at the absurdity of the money that's being spent, and it just so happens to be my second baseball team. But I agree with you with everything you just said. Now, here's the thing: what if during this collective bargaining, and it would never happen? What if you are 28, 29, or 30th in record at the end of the year, you get deregulated to AAA? And a AAA team that won the thing is that it's hard to do that because they're not independent.
I was gonna say, this is not soccer. Like, it's never gonna work.
No,
like
that is what it would be. But that there's got to be some kind of penalty for continuously being at the bottom, and there's got to be a penalty. Well,
But it's like anything else
It should
nowadays,
be
like,
like no longer spending this money. Yes.
Right. However, the new thing is that, there's no single owners anymore. Like with a lot of these team purchases now, it is like a conglomerate.
Yes.
So, like, honestly, I could see where it's like some of these teams, they're going to be owned by like companies like Nvidia and GE and Microsoft and whatever, that like you're going to have companies that own not just individual billionaires, but like it's going to take businesses and banks and multiple sources to go against this issue. Because think about it. The Chicago Bears, what do the McCaskies do other than own the Bears?
Nothing.
So it's like, if this were baseball, the Bears would not be able to afford to buy anyone because they don't have yes, they're billionaires on paper because they own the Bears, but it's not like they're billionaires because they are rich outside of being owners of a sports team and they have a company behind them that is worth billions of dollars as well.
I believe there's maybe a handful of owners that completely own like 51% of their team, like a handful in baseball.
Yeah.
The rest of them are, like you said, it is a group of owners, like, Alex Rodriguez and his group of people. They're trying to buy Minnesota, or they did buy in Minnesota, whatever. You know what I'm saying? You have that now. Oh, we're putting a group of guys together, and we're gonna buy this team. Okay, and again, and if you're saying that you're gonna have companies buy teams or a portion of a team, they're gonna be looking more at the bottom line rather than winning. They're gonna look at what's my return financially rather than what it is winning. Because when it's a single owner and he bought the team because he loves baseball and he wants to win, Steve Cohen, he'll put his wallet down and spend, right? That's what happened with the Mets. If you look at the, team like, I don't know, Los Angeles Angels, it used to be owned by Disney. Now it's got a single owner, but he doesn't spend any money. And if he does spend money, he spends stupid money. Anthony Rodon got cut. He played maybe like 60 games on a 10-year contract. Like, it's just stupid. So you have all these different things. So,
like I said, I don't know how we're gonna fix MLB, but like I said, I know for this, and there was rumor that was Ian Happ that came out and was like, well, the players don't want a lockout. It's like, it doesn't matter what the players want. Like, it's gonna be these owners going against the Dodgers saying enough is enough. Like, it's ridiculous. It's like, again, there has to be some sort of hard roof ceiling of what you can do.
Yeah, there does. You
can't
gotta make it like hockey.
You can't just shell out $2.11 billion per year in salaries, but yet you don't pay it for 30 years. Like, that's just it's I don't want to say
I agree with you, but it's been going on since the beginning of baseball. It's just it was at a smaller level, and the
right. And look, I understand like the whole Bobby Bonilla thing, and it's the hilarious thing that the guy still is getting paid, whatever, however many years later.
Yep.
But like, the Dodgers took it from one thing and they took it to a whole new level, to where again, and I'm not saying, look, Toronto nearly beat the Dodgers, right? Like, they nearly beat them.
Yeah.
However, the Dodgers now have Tucker. They now have whatever. And it's like, who's next? Are they gonna sign, I don't know, name a big time player, because like I would name a player, but it's like, okay, they've kind of fallen off.
No, if they trade for Skubal, that'll
right.
be
Okay,
insane.
yeah, that's one of the names that I've been hearing recently.
Yeah, and then they just signed the top 2 California prospects in the international market. So they just signed those 2 players from the Dominican Republic. So, do they draft well? Yes. Do they sign international players very well with great scouting? Yes. Do they bring in their own revenue? Yes. Have they already paid the Ohtani contract with revenue that came in 1 year? Yes. So when you're looking at their business model, it's phenomenal. Is it ruining baseball as far as the way they're signing players? Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. No, I agree. I just think the issue for me personally is that you have a team that, quote unquote, on the books is paying 4 times the amount of salary, because their tax payroll is $413 million, and the bottom team is paying $100 million. So you have a top team that's paying 4 times the amount of money as a bottom team. And it's one of those where it's like the Dodgers, they're like, we don't care. Payroll tax, whatever you want to charge us, whatever, we'll pay it. We don't care. But the bottom line is that the problem I have is that you are creating a quadruple A farm system for like the top 5 teams. Because again, you have crummy teams that, yes, they get the number 1 overall pick. They're going to play for the Miami Marlins they're going to be in AA, AAA, and then by the time they come up,
anymore, you don't get the number 1 pick with the worst record anymore. You can go for you if it happens once, you get you're up there. If you're at the bottom again, you get the highest you can get is a number 10 pick. It's anti-tanking, so they've got that in place now. So
see, which to me is also like a weird system, because if you take a team that is absolutely at the bottom of the barrel that can't compete, and then now you're taking away the number 1 pick, and I don't like the fact that teams tank. Hey, maybe you make it a financial, whatever over, the pick. Because again, I do want to see small market teams be competitive.
I agree.
So it's one of those like, hey,
the Marlins have done that. The Marlins have literally won the World Series, and then in the offseason, they sold every player and then tanked that next year. So those are bad organizations. So I understand what you're saying. Yes, we do want to see what you call it. I forgot the word right now, but you want to see every team be competitive. Is it going to happen? No, because of injuries or someone's rebuilding and it takes them 4 years. The Astros, the trash Astros went through that where they went for a rebuild and were at the bottom for 3 or 4 years, and that's how they got all these picks that are signing with other teams down in their 30s. It's just the way baseball has been. It doesn't need to be fixed. Absolutely. So, all right, JC, I want to watch the rest of this football game that's happening to my right. I don't know what the score is. Indiana should be up, right?
You know what? I haven't even been watching. But
college.
What is this? Something about Caleb and PCA?
Oh yeah, they've been wearing.
They're at a Blackhawks game.
Yeah, they're boys. It's great because it reminds me of like my era where, you had Sandberg and Dawson and Grace hanging out with some of the football players and basketball players. Yeah, it's 7-10 Hoosiers right now. Against Miami.
Breaking news: Caleb has not talked to DJ Moore.
How do you know that? How do we know?
Bears duo did not speak about costly INT versus Rams.
Why do I need to talk to you? You know you fucked up. You fucked up. You ran the wrong route. I don't even want to get into that fucking thing because I've seen the film multiple times and it's annoying. It's annoying. All right, I'm good, JC, right now. So I can go cut up and do all the stuff that makes the podcast pretty. And we'll do this again next week. And for the first time, we won't be working on a Sunday or a Saturday, which is going to feel great for my liver.
Oh, you'll still drink, I'm sure.
Oh, not to that extent. Not to that extent. No,
not to that extent. Yeah.
I'm also done coaching bowling, so like I'm gonna have more time for myself to work on other adventures with the podcast. So I'll be doing a lot more of that stuff. So, all right, y'all. That is it for today. A big thank you to Ivan from the Tape Never Lies for the entire Bear season, sticking with us and doing all the live events and jumping on Mondays when he can. To JC, who's been phenomenal and an integral part of the podcast this year, has just been great. Thank you, JC, for stepping up and helping with everything that you do. Big Steve, who's shown up at the live events. He came to every single bar we were at. So thank you, Big Steve, for doing that for us. It was really appreciated. I'm glad you got to come out and hang out with us. Casa Humilde, which became our second home. Thank you to Casa Humilde, all the people that work there, to Jose, everybody there. Output, Chicago output Berwyn. Thank you for letting us be there at the beginning of the season. They got the Glam. We did a couple shows there. But it's been a great NFL season. We're able to do lives on a weekly basis. It was a lot of work, a lot of learning, a lot of excitement, and a lot of nervousness from Ivan. But I had a really good time. It was fun with everybody. Didn't have a bad moment, even in the losses. So I just want to give everybody those shout outs and their flowers for everything. Thank you, our fans. New fans that have been signing up and subscribing. Thank you to everyone that's listening on their podcast app on the next day. 283 weekly episodical episodes, you want to say, but there's like 350 in there right now. Thank you to our sponsor, 606 Media, True Chicago Sports Fans, and you, the fans. Check us out on social media, True Chicago Sports Fans on everything. TCSF Pod on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it. And for JC and Ivan, I am Big Z, and we'll see you next week for episode 284. And until then, be good to each other for the love of sports.